Hello, everyone. We should be live. This is my first time going live with a brand new streaming solution, which is Meld. So hopefully you're able to see everything. It should be coming in crystal clear for you. So thank you, everyone. But welcome, everyone, to this live stream, this replay. Super excited to talk about the Made on YouTube event. If you have not heard, Made on YouTube is the event where all the large things happen with YouTube, and we have a good amount of updates. So we are really excited to just get in here and get started. I think that it's going to be a fun event. Now, if you are new to this and you have never joined a live stream here, welcome. I'm excited to talk about all these new features. I am testing out a new streaming service, but I wanted to go ahead and show off a kind of interesting thing. So if you don't know, we have a newsletter. So we are going to have a link to everything I'm talking about here today in the description, including the newsletter, which we are discussing here live. So this is our opportunity just to quickly talk about, what the event had, what is going on, things like that. So really excited to just give this a look at. And yeah, so without further ado, this is the biggest update made on YouTube ever. This is Did I program what? Says the Wallpaper King. If you're asking about the transitions, that is through Meld Studio. So Meld is pretty good at programming these transitions. Wow. So with that, the newsletter is linked in the description. It should be the first link. We're talking about over 20 plus. I saw some people say 30 new things. And here are our top 5. You should really read the, newsletter. The newsletter is a programming strategy between me and my co-founder, the Can Do creator, Ike here. She wrote this one, but I have Overlook and we agreed on these features together. So the first one we really want to talk about is collaboration. So similar to what we've seen on other platforms, collaborators are allowing 2 different YouTube channels to collab on one video, both of them getting the credit, similar to what Instagram has already had. I believe TikTok has this as well. And this brings YouTube in parity with some of the other stuff we have seen. And for me, I'm actually really excited about this because I've collaborated with folks. When I have people on the live streams like you're watching now, there are some things that we can do that just helps both of the channels there. And so I think it's really exciting, especially when it comes to, what we're thinking about doing and creating here together. So for me, really excited for just that opportunity. So when is it coming out? It is being rolled out gradually with the intent to be available to all creators globally within the next couple of weeks. I know that some people, what they'll do is they will have it to where, it's behind subs. It's not necessarily available right away. So I'm really excited for this feature because I think that anytime you can kind of share credit with folks, it's one of those things that really goes well. This next one, especially since you're watching this live stream, is all streaming related. And I think that this might be a sleeper feature for a lot of folks, but I think the fact that YouTube is working on bringing this, together now, I think being able to stream when you are in both vertical and horizontal is going to be game changing. Ike really does a great job explaining this. When is this coming out? Once again, they're experimenting with this. We also have in the newsletter a couple of other places that you can take a look at. But I'm excited for a lot of these different features because you don't really know how much you don't have until you see some of the ideas YouTube's been cooking up with. And this one, I am so excited, but I do have to go full screen. If you know my history, you know that I started at TubeBuddy. And if you don't know what TubeBuddy is a browser extension that helps creators grow and optimize their YouTube channels. Being their first ever employee, I think I got that nailed. But one of their most key features was A/B testing. And anytime I talk about A/B testing, people ask me, what do you think about this versus TubeBuddies? Well, I said at the time, it's TubeBuddy offers title testing right now. It's just A/B test split testing. YouTube said, and I quote, hold that thought because we are offering A/B testing for titles. Now, this means you can test like 3 thumbnails, 3 titles. And this is a true A/B test. I always was upfront that YouTube's A/B test was not but TubeBuddy's A/B test was not a true A/B test. It was once every 24 hours. This is a true A/B test, and it is very, very, this is something I've been wanting for a long time. Now, I do see that from the Wallpaper King, That's cool. Any chance we'd be able to use this feature to avoid copyright issues? YouTube's very good at copyright. I'm assuming you're talking about the feature above. If you don't own the rights to something, be very careful when you're publishing or posting about it. Always make sure you have the rights. Follow YouTube's terms of service. Obligatory things there. But with A/B testing, keep in mind YouTube's services on, especially here, is that you're not supposed to mislead. They want click-worthy, not clickbait. And I really think this is a great image to see, kind of how they do it. And I believe Ike actually linked through to the article on each of these. So if you want to learn more. And again, when's it coming out? It's currently being tested with a small group of creators, but it will be available to all creators before the end of the year. So we're going into the new year with some really amazing features. So super happy on that. And this one, I can't stress enough, is going to be really interesting for creators. And this is talking about switch in brand segments. Basically, if you are unaware of this, one thing you can do on a lot of other platforms is you can have integrated brand deals that you are dynamically inserting into the video. That's just a fancy way to say you're not adding an ad read in the video. You have them pre-recorded and then you put them in where you would place ads normally on YouTube. You can really see them covering this here with this integration here where you upload the video, you choose where it is. The reason I'm so excited about this is because this will allow us as creators to not only make one sponsored video, but we can constantly use our back catalog like a lot of podcasters do. And if a video is trending or popping off, that isn't a direct sponsor video where the whole video is about that. In theory, a sponsor could sponsor your whole channel and you can make new brand deals that were never thought of before. And even Ike writes this beautifully here. Brands want to permanently sponsor a video too. That's a new deal. And that's really cool. And again, it will launch broadly, next year, but really cool to see this, really excited for it. And then that goes into auto timestamps and tagging for YouTube shopping. We're in that money grind, if you will. And this goes into auto timestamps and tagging for YouTube videos. Susan says, oh, wow, that soon. Yes, it's really cool to see. Now, one thing I will mention as I am using a new setup, usually I use StreamYard. One, how do you think about the quality if you're watching this, whether live or in the replay? Hopefully it's a little higher quality than some of the streams I've done before. And then two, my question and thing I wanted to mention, I can't put chat on here, but would you like seeing chat on stream in a different way? I know there are ways to do that here. So just kind of interested in what you would like to see as I am going here. But what I can say is I am really excited for the auto timestamps and taggings for YouTube shopping. This is going to, as Ike says, save time while earning more money. You can now have it here, and it's using AI to help detect when they are. This can be very helpful, especially when it comes to just how you want to show things off in the video. I'm assuming it's using the same kind of technology that Google uses when it comes to just their AI for chapters. And I think this is just a chance for them to really hone in here and go deeper on a feature that they're already kind of using to help creators make more money. Now, I do have a note here that, I am seeing that I'm having a little bit of an issue with my stream connection. Of course, the day I want to go live, we're having some tech issues, but hopefully it's not too bad. Hopefully it's all coming through. Just let me know. But as we continue to go here, quality is very good even when you go smaller. Oh, good to hear. Thank you there, Susan. Now, even though I have this as low latency, it seems to not. Good to see you, Kenneth Van Diesel. Good to have you here. But this one in particular does require the YouTube Partner Program, and you do have to have less than 10,000 subscribers. Now, the reason that's important is because anything, when it comes to this, is I'm trying to find the nice way to word this. YouTube says subs don't matter until things like this where they do. And it is a challenging thing because when they say subs don't matter, but then they put features behind a sub count, it's a little confusing. And I've been very clear about that. But hopefully, like they did with other monetization requirements, this will hopefully in time lower. And maybe more people will get access to it, because I think any feature like this where people can make real money by just talking about products, a great example of this, and I'll do it for this video because I'm fortunate enough to be in this program, is the idea is if you show off a product or feature like this little mobile monitor from SmallRig, I was testing it out. If you're in the Discord server, you'll know. This is a 1080p monitor for $55 that basically just mirrors your phone, and anything your phone sees, this monitor sees. So it is really sick. I really like it. And in theory, this feature should be able to pick up that I mentioned the monitor and just make a way for people to have an easier way to make more. Great to see you, Geology Dude, Kenneth, so many people here. So YouTube says sub count doesn't matter until it does. When is it coming out? Is already out and available for those in the shopping program. So that's our test. He said, hopefully. Honorable mention. And that honorable mention is side-by-side ads. So in theory, they're going to have a way that they can add more ads to it. Now, I'm not exactly sure how to feel about that, especially when it comes time to it. I do think that in theory, as we're live streaming, there should be ads possibly on this side of my screen if I were going to find a place to put it. It's a way for creators to make, more money. I'm not opposed to it, but I'll have to see how it's used and how people use it. Sometimes things can go haywire. I do like create video clips and shorts from your long form videos. However, I am very biased here. I am a proud Opus Clip partner. I think Opus Clip does a fantastic job. Like anything you make, I am losing you, Andrew. I think it says my bitrate is stable. Not sure. That's the difference between using, your own internet versus using something like StreamYard. So, I keep coming and going. Trying to work on my internet while going through this. Let's see. Let's go ahead. Prioritize my computer for the next 8 hours. Let us go there. It's funny because on my end, the internet connection is phenomenal, but I'm not sure why. Oh, so try get out and back in. It might have just been a homekeeping channel thing. We'll see. Hopefully that stays stable. But features were a little bit worried. Going live on mobile alongside eligible streams is certainly a feature. This tool gives anybody the ability to react to your live stream. Very true. It does remind me of video replies. When I said that, I'm like, yeah, they keep doing things like that where it's like video reply focused. So anytime they do things like that, I have to keep in mind that YouTube is juggling a lot. And so when I think of these things, my stream is stuttering. Yes, you are breaking up at times. Interesting. Well, hopefully it will fix itself. You see, my bit rate is staying pretty high, but I don't know what exactly I can do on that front. So I'm trying. It says my bit rate is like, usually YouTube will, give me an error if there's something wrong with my stream health, but it's not coming from YouTube. This is the fun part about live streaming over Wi-Fi. Even though I have fiber, you gotta love the internet sometimes. Maybe I'm just going too high. Maybe that's just the issue. I'm going too high of a bit rate. But now, I want this to be interactive. Let's talk about this together. So first, I am going to, with the power of meld, bring myself down here. And I'm going to zoom in so this is even larger. Which do you want me to talk about first? Which one should I talk about first? So, we can talk about new shorts creation tools. We can talk about new live updates, so live streaming updates. We can talk about new ways to earn money on YouTube, or we can talk about YouTube Studio updates. If you're watching live, don't worry. This is where we're going to ask. Go ahead and vote on the poll. Which one should we start with? And so our options are, should we do shorts? Should we do live streams? Should we do money? Or should we do YouTube Studio? These are our choices, and that's what we're going. So hopefully this works. Hopefully my internet decides not to be bad. Hello there, Armand Gordon. Happy to see you. It could also be the YouTube servers. I will say that from my experience, it tends to be my own internet. I do not know at the time of this, though. So far, YouTube Studio in the poll has 100% of the votes, but that could just be one vote. Ooh, it's between YouTube Studio and live streams. The votes are coming in. Let us know what you want to talk about first. Now, I will say, all of these features for us here are a huge win. So I wanted to just say that I am excited to talk about any of these. All of these are things that we kind of talked about in our newsletter. And once again, if you would like to support the work that Ike and I are doing here on YouTube and in our Discord and in our community, we have a newsletter where we go out weekly. We really do our best to update you on YouTube news like this. And so really appreciate everyone who considers even going there. So I will say it looks like YouTube Studio is winning, followed by live stream. So let's go ahead. I'm going to end the poll. If you didn't get a chance to vote, you had your time. And if you're watching the replay, you should be able to see in the chapters which everyone voted. So here we are, YouTube Studio updates. We are starting here. Now here's the fun part. Where can I go to not cover anything on screen? I think I'll be in the top right hand corner. So the one thing I'm excited about is Ask Studio, which as you can see in this image, and I will maybe zoom in. You know what I'll do? I'll use a handy dandy tool. And you can see here, let me zoom in a little more. You can kind of see Ask Studio here. And the idea is you can ask YouTube's AI powered by Google Gemini, just going to, talk about that, how it thinks you're doing on YouTube. A lot of times people come into these live streams, ask questions, and YouTube is hoping to help creators like myself and others better understand how it works. So it says here, every creator wants to know how their videos are landing and how to continue growing. Ask Studio, an AI-powered partner, helps creators answer their most important questions. So it's going to be conversational. Keep in mind, like most things AI, it might get things wrong, but hopefully because this is coming from Google themselves, it'll be pretty consistent and good. Now, I will say that this is something I'm cautiously optimistic about. Next one is Inspiration tab. I recently released a video all about the Inspiration tab, and they're bringing it even further. I am so excited to see these changes. So getting started on your next video doesn't need to be hard and doesn't have to be so hard, but a lot of times for creators it is. So they said that we won't give you ideas. We won't just give you ideas. We'll also tell you why they could work. Pulling from audience behavior will provide insights to help you. And I think this is actually a really solid feature because anytime YouTube puts out new tools, we win. Because again, I can't stress this enough. When YouTube puts out new tools and they invest in the creators, that helps us create better content for not only ourselves, for our audiences. It helps people keep watching YouTube, which makes YouTube happy, and it helps us earn more money, making content creation not just a pipe dream, but a reality. So anytime we see YouTube investing, making new tools, improvising, changing the game, we win. So really excited to see all these new tools. But I do think that, as we talked about earlier, we have A/B testing. When it comes to Inspiration tab, a lot of this is using AI. And I know that there are some people who are on the fence. I would love to know if you're watching live, Homekeeping Channel, Geology Dude, Kenneth, I see Steve, I apologize. I see Armand. What do you think about all these new AI tools? What are your thoughts on AI? Always interested. Ike, of course, you as well. I'm pretty cautiously optimistic. I like AI that helps me save time but doesn't replace me. We talked about title A/B testing and collaborations, but this one I think is interesting, and it is auto dubbing, and it does the lip syncing. So I am not sure how to feel about this, but if I wanted to make a YouTube short, in theory, I could do this now. So I would possibly change this into another language. Ideally, I would look at what my audiences are located. I know that I have a large following in a couple of countries, primarily English speaking, but I know there's things like the Philippines, Indonesia. So this could be an interesting experiment to see how this works, especially live lip sync. That is what I am super curious about. Likeness detection, I think, is going to be helpful. Our goal is to build AI tech that empowers human creativity responsibly. So basically, if someone creates a fake version of you or tries to create an AI version of you, you now have the opportunity for it to find you. Ike does says, I'm interested in how Ask Studio will work. Kenneth says AI is good, but it is also hard to use because it's not always connecting to what I want. Very fair. Ike also says, but also a bit scared that people will rely on it 100% of the time because it's technically from YouTube. Look, here's the thing. Even Google Gemini tells you, and a lot of things in YouTube right now will tell you that it gets things wrong. So I do think that is an important thing to mention. AI is not always perfect. It's getting better, but it is humans that make and break the difference. Tools can only do so much. It is us as creatives, as humans, as people to make these tools even better. I am recovering from being a little sick. Tried to. Hopefully you can forgive me. But I'm back. Throat coat and tea helping me going. But I do like the idea of likeness detection. I do think that for me, especially whenever it comes to how these things are going to go, I think that AI, especially in the case of likeness detection, so YouTube is introducing likeness detection with AI. I think this is actually a really helpful feature for creatives because if people are using AI to recreate you or make you say things you've never said, I think having someone to kind of double check and say, hey, someone's using your likeness, someone has you in their videos, is this actually you, one? And two, if it is, are you okay with this? I think it's a good feature to have, and honestly, I'm cautiously optimistic about it. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is, last time we did our poll, we had studio and then we had live stream. So we will go to the live stream view. So let's see what's happening on live, announcing our biggest updates to YouTube Live. Now, there have been a lot of updates when it comes to live streaming and how YouTube does this. One of the more recent ones was like super chat goals, which I thought were pretty interesting. So for an example, if I were to do a super chat goal, I know people want a channel review live stream. So in theory, I could do, if we get one super chat, we will get a channel review live stream, right? But they're doing a lot more with lives. They're really trying things to help people make more money, have more community, and I'm cautiously optimistic about it. I do say that the coolest feature I think we talked about earlier, but it's not the only thing. So I will also mention that as I am reading through here, I want to focus on just some of the things they mention. Imagine you're at a concert holding a hand-drawn sign for one incredible moment. The artist on stage looks right at you and smiles. You're 1 in 1,000, but the connection feels personal. That's the magic of live streaming on YouTube. I actually think this talks about the connection of live streaming in a way I've never really heard. And I really like that. And I think that super chats are kind of that moment. I love a good analogy. If you followed me for a while, you'll probably know that. So I think that is where I'm excited to see how they innovate here, because this is that thing that is personal, that is different when it comes to, how we can do it. Now, I'm going to share my screen again. One thing that they talk about is its unparalleled interactivity that draws viewers in. On average, over 30% of daily logged in viewers watch live content. So 30%. Let's talk about that. 30% of daily logged in users on YouTube watch live stream. So if you are considering doing a live stream, whether you're doing horizontal or vertical, you should consider it. Out of the 2.5 billion estimated users, 30% of that is massive. That is a huge opportunity. So if you're thinking about going live, some of these tools that YouTube talks about when they are updating, and the reason they're focused so much on live, can help us as creators get better. And I think now is the perfect time to live stream. And again, as we look here, that's why on Made on YouTube, they really did focus on it. So one thing they did is you can now practice before you're going live. I think this is something that's been needed. I know for me that anytime YouTube has something where you can get better or practice, this is really fun. Playables on live, so you can play games. So in theory, I guess you could play games with your users. So they give the cut the rope example, Tomb of the Mass trivia crack. They're prioritizing discoverability, which I think is underappreciated by putting YouTube live streams, both vertical and now horizontal and vertical, and having them in one chat experience, and shorts can go broader. That's huge. And you can either do this using YouTube's own services or your favorite third party. And I think that's really fun. AI powered highlights turn live content into lasting content. It finds the most compelling moments from live streams and automatically creates ready to share shorts. I'm excited to see how that goes, but knowing YouTube, they'll probably have the YouTube watermark. So with that, it'll probably be very limited to YouTube. The new monetization tools, though, again, you'll notice the thing. The theme I would say on this made on YouTube is how can we help creators with more tools, come up with ideas, have more fun on the platform, and make more money, which at the end of the day, YouTube's nailing what creators want. So a lot of times I'm harsh on YouTube. I'll give them the win here for focusing on real things creators wanted. I see from Susan, I have gone all in with ChatGPT, even given him a name Charlie. He knows how to help me with scripting now. And again, that is kind of why they've come up with agents, right? When it comes to AI. And I think that a lot of people trust it, but always get a second opinion. It can be wrong. And I have seen, oh boy, have I seen some things people have done because AI told them to. And honestly, it probably shouldn't have. Just food for thought. As we go back, I think since we've talked about the studio updates, we've talked about the live updates, why don't we go in and talk about the new shorts creation tools? Now, if you don't know, YouTube is always experimenting, always getting better when it comes to their features, right? They have use the sound, speech to song, collab, green screen, new shorts creation tools. Today at Made on YouTube, they unveiled a suite of features designed to make creativity on YouTube more playful and effortless than before. This is a VEO 3, so dream it, prompt it, created. We now partner with Google DeepMind to bring a custom version of their most powerful video generation, VEO 3. If you're unfamiliar, this is now a AI-powered tool right within Shorts. Now, the cool thing is, I do like VEO 3. I like the idea. I do think that what they're training on things like that, it does matter. It does say that there are different things you should note. It generates outputs with lower latency at 480, so you can easily create and for the first time with sound. So it shows how they're working with AI to get things better. They're adding motion. You can stylize your videos. You can add objects. You're seeing a lot of the things that they're doing that you can now add. This example, they're showing you how you can make a photo move with karate. I think this is why they're adding in AI detection, because this is going to make it easy for a lot of people to generate things, and having this built into Short. Some people say that this might encourage more AI slop. Again, cautiously optimistic. First draft with a tap. I think this is interesting. Starting a video with a blank timeline can be daunting. Edit with AI, so in theory it can edit for you. Turning everyday videos into catchy soundtracks. This definitely feels like something that TikTok has allowed for a while, and Shorts want to kind of help in that way. Ag says I was thinking about the AI slop. Absolutely. So I say all of this to say the Shorts updates are definitely more, and what I've noticed anyway, they seem more creator focused, in that a lot of these I think would work for, traditional live streaming and horizontal viewership. But I think they're focusing on Shorts because a lot of people love Shorts. I've come fully around on them. I think they're a great piece of, addition to YouTube. They've been around 5 years now, so 1/4 of YouTube's total runtime now, which is crazy to think about. But I think that YouTube Shorts, if you're still unsure about them, and I hear every day, I don't even know about YouTube Shorts are here to stay. YouTube Shorts are a great way, if you're a beginning content creator, to practice. If you can get people's attention in a YouTube Short, you can then learn how to transition that skill from YouTube videos. You get up to 3 minutes with a YouTube Short. You have the ability to test things out. If you're wanting to go live, it gets broader discovery. They mention that themselves in their own blogs and sharing. So when you look at it, this is really the future of YouTube in a lot of ways. And I think shorts are a great addition, and I'm excited to see how things change. So, last but certainly not least, I see that I am buffering again. I love my internet. I think I'm just going to invest in a really long Ethernet cable. And I appreciate everyone for sticking in. Now, the last but certainly not least, as we are, see, I'm sharing too much good knowledge, is what I'm jokingly saying. I think that's what's happening. I'm gonna say that's YouTube. YouTube says the knowledge is too good. I definitely don't think it's my internet, but you see, this is where it's hard. On the Meld side, it says that I am, like, I'm looking at it, and it says that we should be fine. So this is where it's always that interesting bit. Although now this is loading slow for me. Definitely seems like it's my internet. Apologies for that. It's to you in a complimentary way to, I allow you to trust it more. AI can be helpful, but I remain skeptical about everything it says, and I think a healthy level of skepticism is good. So, okay. Seems made on YouTube. Here's the hard part. My bit rate has stayed consistent on my end. I know I'm over Wi-Fi, but that's one thing I like about, being able to look at that. Well, we will just keep going. So, new ways for creators to earn on YouTube. We can now reimagining sponsorships in long-form video. We talked about this a little bit earlier. Unlocking new opportunities in shorts. For shorts creators, you'll soon be able to add a link to a brand site specifically for brand deals. That is huge, because now, in theory, we can use affiliate links instead of just, having an Amazon link. We, in theory, could use a brand's own personal website sign up instead of just the affiliate offerings they have. This helps you forge deeper connections between ourselves as creators and brands. We'd love to see that. So you can supercharge shopping with AI, which we talked about. And it kind of mentions some of the ones they're experimenting with. So Nike, Etsy, Best Buy, Shark Ninja, Michael Kors in the US. And they talk about some other brands in other places. Business Growth already says he's talking about needing a long cable when talking about shorts. Oh, that is true. Definitely seems that my live stream is a little bit delayed from, I put ultra low latency. And even on YouTube's backend, it says my health is excellent. Stream latency is low latency, but it doesn't feel super low latency. All that to say, I think the real winner, as always, when it comes to any of these updates, the real winner is us, the creatives, when it comes to these things. I'm missing so much of the last 5 minutes as something's up, so I have to rewatch on replay. I hope YouTube catches all this. I'm not sure how buffering works. I will say this. I wanted to try something new because I've been using StreamYard forever. A lot of people know that I'm a dedicated StreamYard person. I used to work with them in another capacity, and then, they sold and things like that. So some things have changed, but I do think StreamYard offers a really good product still. I'm trying Meld Studio. I don't blame this on Meld. I blame this more on my internet. Even though consistently wise, I'm seeing this maintain, like, Meld has a feature that shows my bitrate. It is not faltered. It's a little odd to me. But what isn't odd to me is a lot of the updates we're going to be discussing. If you guys have any questions when it comes to these, please let me know. For me, I think that these kind of things are super important, especially as it's breaking up lots now. Well, maybe we call it. You know what? We will do another stream another day where we can ask. We're having some issues. So I will say thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for joining me. I will possibly be in the chat if this replay doesn't work out too well. I might just make it unlisted. We'll see. Hopefully it works out better in the replay. Thank you everyone for joining, and I hope you have a great day. We had a lot of fun and a lot of great conversation.